Okay, so in this video I'm going to teach you about 4 different tools. They are these ones right here: sweep, shell, draft, and move face. And they're all pretty cool tools that you'll use on occasion. And this video is really just going to do a basic overview of them. And you're going to use all 4 of them on the next object you're creating. So we're going to start with draft. So to do a draft, we're going to start by creating a shape with an extrude. There's 2 ways to draft. I'm going to show you both ways. So we'll start by making a sketch. Oops. So double click on this to edit it. Press N to go perpendicular. And for this one, we'll just do maybe kind of a fancy shape. And for this, I'm not going to worry about constraints, okay? And for your next challenge with the coffee mug, I'm not going to worry about constraints on the sketches. Okay, so we have this kind of shape here. I'm going to extrude it. Okay, now what you're going to notice is that when you do an extrude, there's an option here to check draft. Okay, if you click this, you'll notice that it kind of flares out or flares in. So let me get a little closer so you can see. So draft was selected, so here's without it. It's just going to go straight up. With draft, you're going to see it kind of bow outward. And I can change the direction of the draft by pressing this arrow. And I can change the amount right here. I can make it a 40-degree draft, so it's very substantial. I can make it a 10-degree draft, so it's very gradual. And it can go both ways. Okay, so this can be useful. The other thing that you can do for drafting is you can just not do it at all and then add a draft in. Okay, so I can choose a plane and then I can select off from that plane. I can select the different walls separately that I want to draft. Okay, and it's going to basically serve the same purpose there. And I can do the same thing. I can change the angle of it. I can decide whether I want it to go in or out. Okay, and so this one you have a little bit more control when you select it here as opposed to part of the extrude, but it doesn't matter too much what you want to do. And so the next thing I want to show you, so there's drafting, and so anytime that you want a shape to kind of come in a little bit like that, it's a useful tool. So the next one I'm going to show you is the shell. Okay, and so you can turn any shape into a shell by selecting just a face to remove. So you see that? It removed that face, and now I have a shell. And I can choose the thickness of the walls. I can do something like 5 millimeters or 2 millimeters. So this is really useful for making boxes and things like that. And you can see that I can also select to remove more faces. Okay. Maybe let's do this. In my sketch, I'll make an extra line here. Like that. And so let me add under my shell another face to remove. Let's use 1, 2, and 3. Now we have this shape with little holes in the side. That's kind of fun. So that's the shell command. And then from here, I wanted to show you, let's go with the sweep. Okay, so the sweep is basically a tool that we can use to take a shape and run along a path. Okay, so For this, we need to create two sketches to do a sweep. And so this can get kind of complicated. And so I'm going to show you a series of steps that you use for the coffee cup one. And then, yeah. So let's start like this. I'm going to choose, so let's start by making a sketch on the front plane. Actually, I'm going to make a sketch on the top plane. No, I'll do it on the front plane. I'll do it on the right plane. Oops, I chose an extrude. I'm going to do a sketch. Okay, what I'm going to do for this one is I'm going to make a little thing that goes all the way around it. So, I can go like this. I'm going to choose the spline tool here. Okay, and again, I'm not going to worry about constraining it. Okay, and so I'm going to now create a second sketch that is on this line. And so this is the tricky part. In order to do this, I need to make a new plane. So I'm going to create a new plane, and I'm going to choose point, I think curve point. So I can choose a point on this curve. So I select the curve and I select a point. I'm just going to create a plane on that point. And so what that's going to do is it's going to allow me to make a sketch that I can then create like a sweep or create like a shape that's going to go all the way around here. Okay, so let me make a sketch now on this plane. Alright, so when I go perpendicular there, you can hide that part if it helps. So I'm sketching on this plane. It's a little tricky here. We can hide this sketch. Let's do this. Let's choose this use tool to select the part of that that's touching the plane. So I have 2 points. Really just that one point, I guess, touching the plane. Okay, and that's what we need here for our sketch. So I'm actually going to now delete this line. And I'm going to hide this sketch because I'm going to get confused otherwise. Okay, so now I have just this point. I'm going to make a little shape around it. Could be anything. Something weird looking. Okay, there we go. We got our point, our sketch. Now I'm going to unhide this. And I'm going to unhide this. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sweep this shape around this thing. And so I'm going to choose sweep. I'm going to choose this sketch as my face. So face is blue, so I'm going to select that. I'm going to click sweep path to make that blue. I'm going to click that. And now it's going to not generate a sweep, but it's going to try to. Okay, it doesn't really like this one. It's kind of messy. We could do add, maybe that will fix it. Merge with all. So you can see that the sweep here wasn't really a fan of that shape I created. It could be that it had all those weird lines, and then there's like these weird, since it's taken like sharp turns like here and there, it's having trouble with it. So there's a limit to what you can sweep, I guess. You could try doing the remove. You can let me remove that. Alright, let's make it into a simple shape then. Alright, and so we'll just do like, maybe a rectangle. See if that works. Alright, so I'm going to reselect the face, switch 3, reselect the path. And there you go. So we created this little like ring around it. It's kind of ugly, but that's what Sweep can do for you. You can also make it into a remove, so it carves that piece out. Okay. Or we can even do something where it like kind of cuts into it. Okay. The last thing I want to show you is another tool that we have on here called Move Face. So you can click a face if you're not happy with where it ended up. You can click a face and you can literally just move it in a certain direction. Okay, I think I picked the wrong one there. Let's choose this face right here. So I can make this thing taller, right? And move this face up like that. Okay. Or I could select this face right here and maybe move it out. Which is kind of cool. And so this is a good thing to do for like tweaking shapes. When you build the coffee cup, the handle, when you do the sweep for the handle, it's going to have like some little faces sticking out on the inside that you have to move to eliminate to make it like flush with the coffee cup. And that's basically how you're going to use that tool. Okay, so move face is kind of a fun one. You can also move in to make it smaller. Okay, so something to have fun with. Hopefully this made sense, and hopefully it was enough to get started. If not, you can watch the solution video for the coffee mug as well.